Chef Miller Janie Pendleton, and today we're making one of my husband's favorites. We're going to can chili. Yes, this is why I can't sterilize anything with you in here. Say hello. Say hello to everybody. Give me 5. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to heat up the pan. Okay, remember, hot pan, cold oil. So we're adding just a little bit of olive oil, just a little bit. And we're going to toss in, I've got 3 coarsely chopped pieces of garlic here, and I'm just going to throw in about half of that. Right there we go. And then here I've got 3 very small red onions. I mean very small. I mean they were about like this, okay? And I'm going to toss in just a few of those. Oh, not quite half of those. Okay, let's put that down with the hamburger here a little bit. Garlic is browned up already. Didn't take long. I'm going to pull that up a little bit too high. Then here we have about 2.5 pounds of hamburger. You can go up to 3 pounds of hamburger for this recipe. And we're just going to we're just going to kind of crumble it up, break it up, get that in our pan. Hoping you can hear me over the sizzling. This already smells good, those garlics and onions. Oh my goodness. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. This is looking good already, and it's not even browned yet. It smells good. So we're going to toss the onions and the garlic and the olive oil in the hamburger. Now, while this is browning, add some either canning salt or sea salt here. Get a little bit of cracked black pepper. Add about, maybe a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half of oregano, just a little bit, just to flavor it up a little bit. Remember, we're going to bring the sauce all the way up to here, so it's not much. I'm going to add a couple of dashes of celery salt. Here I have some ground cumin seeds. I'm not adding much, maybe just about a half of a teaspoon, that's it. You can omit that if you like. And we're going to save the chili powder for when we add our tomato juice. I'm just right now trying to get these spices and flavors into the actual hamburger itself. And then I'll respice, when I start adding the juices and stuff, I'll spice it all over again. We'll use the same spices and spice it back up. But for now, just spicing up this hamburger that's in the chili. To me, in a chili, the most flavorful part is when you bite into the hamburger. Okay, we're just going to continue. If you got one of those little hamburger chopper things, you can use that. But I find just using a whisk. Just kind of press it in there. I find that helps. By the way, I'm using a 14 quart. It's 14 quarts to here, 16 quarts to the top. So it's considered a 16 quart stock pot, but actually I'm not going to fill it up by 14 quarts. So we'll be making 14 quarts of chili today. That's my goal. And we're going to put a lid on this. And we're going to turn this on medium heat, and we're just going to let this cook until the ground beef is browned all the way through, and we will be right back. Okay, I drained my hamburger, put it back in here. Looks like I got most of that grease off. You can see it's a really nice, fine. Using that whisk to do that, that really, really makes it nice. Now to this, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that garlic and the rest of that onion. That onion is kind of separated and chopped up in there. I've got the heat kind of down on this just a little bit here so we don't burn this hamburger. I don't want any brown, like burnt pieces of hamburger, unless you like that. I don't. So, okay, now here, oops, see if you can see it here. Here I've just got a large can of the Brook's chili beans. This is a 2-pound, 8-ounce can. So it's 40 ounces. And I'm just going to pour it all in here. Put it all in. Oh, I guess I can't. I'll have to rinse that out in a minute. That's just red chili beans. So this is basically, you can make this yourself, or you can put in your own chili beans, your red kidney beans and spices. That's fine. So I'm going to get some haters out there saying, you used something out of a can. Well, you know what? Yes, I did. My channel, my show, my will. So yeah, I cheated. Not that I don't can beans, but I really like the Brook's chili beans. Here I am adding a 29-ounce can of tomato puree. And I'll rinse that out better here in just a minute. Here is a 28-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes. Here's a second can of the petite diced tomatoes. Here I'm just rinsing that can out. Waste not, want not. Here's a 46-ounce can of your Red Gold. I use Red Gold brand. You can use any brand. A fresh squeezed tomato juice. I really like the Red Gold brand in this. It's really fresh tasting. And this was the 100% natural, sodium free. And here's another natural. I can't find this in any other brand that does the all natural tomato juices. There's a second can. Okay, we're going to give this a stir. Bring this up to a simmer. Now remember, whenever you add spices to your chili, it gets hotter during canning when it gets hot. So you don't want to taste test this and think that's the flavor that you're getting when you're cooking it. It does get spicier. Move my little, see my little brown sugar bear here? Yeah. So now we're just going to add 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And here I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of Grandma's molasses. Not quite a tablespoon. That right there's probably plenty. That's probably more like 2 teaspoons. Now, a good chef will always have some spoons. I've noticed other people are suggesting this on their sites, and that's a good idea. I'm glad that you're, if anybody learns anything from me, I love that. And I've noticed some other cooks are showing this, and that's a good thing. I want you to use your spoons. I do not want you double dipping, okay? I've taught you this for years. Keep some spoons next to you here for taste sampling. Now, before I add anything at all, any salt or any more spices, I'm going to bring this up to a simmer. Let these flavors I've already added, let it melt through from the meat into the sauce. There we go. We're going to give this a taste test. That's really good, but I think it does need the salt, so I'm going to add a tablespoon of salt. And I use canning salt for that. Give this another stir. Again, let the flavor melt through. A lot of people oversalt things. If you're a person that's used to having a lot of salt, then you don't understand that those of us who don't have salt, it tastes really strong. So now we're going to try this again. Still needs more salt. Still needs more salt. Using that sodium-free tomato juice. And there's another tablespoon of salt. There we go. And we'll keep adjusting that here. There we go. Remember, herbs and spices get stronger sitting on the shelf in your canned goods as well. So if you're going to eat this up right away, then of course adjust it to your flavor. But don't make it too hot and spicy if you're planning on putting this, if you're planning on canning this and putting this on the shelf. Because again, spices increase their flavor. And now this right here is just chili powder. I'm just going to add some of that right there. Again, not a lot right now. I'll add that again because I still got to bring this up as high as I can here. Here I have the gluten-free chili powder mix. This is gluten-free, and I can have that. Everything here so far is gluten-free. And this is by McCormick's, by the way, and I got this at Walmart. And I'm just going to sprinkle in a package of that. I don't like a lot of chili spices in mine, so I'm not using the whole packet, but you certainly can. I don't like a really, like, again, when this sits on the shelf, the spices seem to get to grow in heat and in flavor, so I don't want to infuse so much flavor into my chili that I can't eat it. Then that doesn't serve the purpose of me storing the chili. I'm not a spicy food eater, so I'm gonna add a little bit more of this chili powder here. And that's my maximum of that. Now other things you can add to this, and I probably will run out to the garden and get some. You can add some basil if you're serving this fresh, or you can add the dried basil if you're planning on canning it. I always use dried herbs when I'm canning. There you go. Now the thing about canning any soup or stew, it's about density, and you want to make sure that you keep it nice and loose. Okay, that's nice right there. The beans, another reason why I use canned beans is I know that the beans are already cooked through, and I know that they've already done their swelling. So they're not going to thicken up my chili on the shelf, you know, after actually canning it. So let's see how much we have here. We have about 8 quarts. So I guess that's what I'm going to get. I'm going to get about 8 quarts. So that's fine with me. Now what I can do is I can go ahead and add the third thing of tomato juice, but quite frankly my canner, I don't want to run my canner for just 1 or 2 quarts. So already I have the 7 jars here. See this? I have 7 jars here in the canner. They're all sterilized, and I know that's the first run, and I've got about 7 or 8 quarts here in the actual chili. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. I'm gonna leave it like it is, and I'll save this for another day, and I'll just can up what I've got in the pot. Had I made more, I would have been willing to run the canner for at least a half a load, but I'm not willing to run the canner for just 1 or 2 jars. That's a waste of my 90 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and process this at 10 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes. And we'll see you back here when we're done. Now when you're canning chili, you do not want to add your pastas to your chili yet, okay? You want to wait until you open the jar and you can add your pasta when you're reheating the chili. At that time, what we do is we just pre-cook the pasta and then add it. And then, you know, you're done, you're ready to go. Just toss in some pre-cooked pasta. Now here I have, this is what's left of my spirals and of my elbows of my gluten-free pasta, and of course that's what I'll be putting in my chili because I'll be keeping it gluten-free. In my husband's chili I can add these elbows, or you know, whoever else's chili, I can add the regular gluten-filled type pastas, and this is, I just get this right here from Walmart. It's just a cheap version of the elbow macaroni. We pre-cook this into al dente, and then we add this when we open the jar as well. And nothing is better with chili than oyster crackers. Oh my goodness, lordy, lordy, lordy. I love chili and I love crackers. And what I do with this jar, let me back up here a little bit so you can see it. What I do with this jar, and this is a half-gallon jar here, this is a 2-quart jar, is I actually vacuum seal my lid, and then I am able to keep my crackers for long-term storage. So, and this lasts better than it does in an open package. So I always transfer everything from the store into other containers, just like this one here for my pasta. And if I know I'm going to keep it, and I don't use a lot of it, it's just my husband and I now that the kids are away at college, so unless they come home and they eat me out of house and home on the weekends or something, or they fly in from Texas or something, we're just not going to use a lot of product, but we still want to buy in bulk because we save money. So that's where the vacuum sealing in the jars for us comes in handy. So the chili is simmering, and when this comes up to a really hard simmer, I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to get out my sterilized jars out of the canner, and we're going to start filling those up. And remember, this is 10 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes, and we will see you back here then. Actually, by the way, I want to mention that this is my daughter Jasmine's recipe for chili. I have my recipe for chili, which is similar to this, but this is her recipe, and I liked it even better than mine, so we switched over to hers. My daughter is quite the chef. Of my daughter in China last year, and she was sous chefing with a chef that was on the Iron Chef. So, so she's got her food safe certificate, and she's an event planner. So she's getting ready to plan her first wedding, and her first wedding is actually for her sister. She's still in college, and she's getting along really well, doing well in her classes. She's worked in hotels. She's traveled around the globe. And she's traveled farther miles-wise than any of us all put together. She's really, really an outgoing person. She speaks fluent French, and she knows some Chinese now, so she's doing really well. So for those of you who have asked me about her, she's doing really well up at Purdue. So we want to tell her that we miss her today and take this opportunity to tell her, looky, Mommy made your chili. Scratch and sniff the screen, dear. See, I'm trying to get my kids from college to come home. All right, this is Chef and Builder Janie Pendleton, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so I've got my lids in a simmering bath, and I don't even want to argue with that because you're going to do the same. I don't care what the manufacturer states. You're going to soak those lids for at least 3 to 5 minutes, but no longer than 10 to 15 minutes in hot water, okay? You knew what those new jars smelled like. So we washed and sterilized our jars. Whether we're water bath canning or pressure canning, we're still going to do that. That's how I do it, and I've been doing this for 30-some years, and I've had I've had the one failure of the green beans, but that's because I didn't debubble. So as far as the new lids go, I've not had any failures, but I've also been soaking my lids for at least 3 minutes in almost near simmering water. I don't boil my water, and I don't let them soak too long. I don't put them in until I'm ready to start filling my actual jars, and then I put my lids on to simmer. Now here, we just got our chili. You want to dip from the bottom to make sure you get that nice and mixed in there. We're going to leave about an inch to 3/4 of an inch head space. Either works. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. I'll go back and top these off properly. I just want to make sure that I have an equal amount of meat and beans in every jar. And then at the end, I'll actually put what's left over in the juice in each jar. This just makes sure that I have an even amount of meat, beans, and tomatoes in each of the jars. It's just the way I do it. I like to have... And it couldn't be any easier than this, right? Looky, I'm just filling up some sterilized jars. I know, this is getting pressure canned, and people have told you you don't have to sterilize the jars. But I'm telling you that you do. Oh, no, you don't. You're supposed to be hooked up. That's the bad thing about Siberian Huskies. They can get, they're escape artists. Yeah, she's not supposed to be in here with me. Not when I'm canning. That's why I do this really quickly, so I can spend time with my family. Alright, we're almost all the way around, and then we can start filling up. And just think we get to eat the leftovers. Oh yeah. My husband's already had his dinner, but I'm sure later tonight he'll go for another one. He'll go for another bowl, won't you, dear?
Oh, thank you.
Just tell him she's our little escape artist. We're going to start moving back into here again. Now if you come short on the jars, just add a little bit of either water or tomato juice. Well, oops. That didn't work out right, did it? Take some of that out of there. What was I thinking? There we go. No mistakes. Everything is fixable. Just can't get in a hurry and do what I just did. I was just pouring it in, talking to you. Wasn't thinking, was I? Yeah, a little bit more. I keep going around until everything's about 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch from the top. That's perfect. Except for this little baby right here, I got that too full, which I didn't need to do. Okay, now let's fill that up with the right amount. All right, now we're gonna go through here and we're gonna make sure everything is where we want it. You want to fill it too full because you don't want these to boil over in the canner. I mean, we are going for 90 minutes here. And why are we going for 90 minutes? What did I teach you? We're going for 90 minutes because there's meat in this. And that's the longest processing time. Okay, we did good on that. That's we're not going to run the canner again for only just one more jar because that's about all we had left. Now, you don't have to debubble these, but you can give them a few taps. There you go. But if you do find it necessary, then just, there you go. You see how thin I've got the liquid on this? This is very important. And then I'm just going to kind of go through here and kind of stir it, make sure that I debubble it. Even if you don't think it needs it, that right there's probably got too much stuff in it. Let's take some of that out. You don't want these to be too full. We'll divide that here someplace else. The smaller mouth jars are more likely to boil over, so I'll just put some in there and some of the others. There we go. Now, you can use vinegar or hot water from your lids and you just want to clean off the tops. And you never want to double dip this. But this right here, the smallest piece of salt or whatever, it can keep you from getting a good seal. And that you don't want. So we're going to do once around the lids like this. Kind of get that inside lip there just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to clean it off once. I'm going to do it again. This final time, I'm going to clean it off because there's meat in this and a little bit of oils. I'm going to clean it off with a little bit of vinegar. The vinegar will help get those oils off there. Okay, get the inside of that rim there just a little bit. We don't want anything. If there was something right there, like a piece of gristle or something there, we don't want any reason at all for there not to be a reason for this to seal. Take your finger in that same hot water and fill in for any chips or cracks. Feels really good. So we put on our lids. And remember, finger tight, just like that right there. Do not use a piece of equipment to do this. I don't care what they tell you, do not use one of those little pieces. Unless you have arthritis or something, you do not have to get it that tight. See, like this, you just want to give a little bit of resistance and a quarter, just a little bit, like maybe that much of a turn beyond the resistance. That's it, that's all you need. Here, I'll show you again. That's it, that's all you need. You've got to have room for air to come in and out of this. Opportunity right now to make sure that your canner is on and that you've blown through the vent pipe, that you've made sure that the steam's going to come out just fine, your canner's working. Make sure that about every 20 times that I use my canner, I put a little bit of grapeseed oil, just a little bit, and then kind of wipe it back off again on my canning ring, on my lid, my canning lid ring. Okay, now these are ready to take over and put into the canner, and we will be right back. Now this is a little heavy for this piece right here, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in. I'm not going to put this into the canner. I just kind of used it to, I use this right here for my water bath canning, and when I'm just needing to bring my sterilized jars over in one shot, this is really saving some time. All right? All right. Got some stuff on there, but Here we go. Isn't that beautiful? We're gonna put this over in the canner. We're gonna finish filling the canner and we'll be right back. Remember, I did put a splash of vinegar in here, and you want that to keep your jars clear from clouding up, especially in our water. We have a lot of calcium in our water. Okay, we've got a nice steam going. You want some really nice hard steam, and we're gonna steam this for 10 minutes. Nice hard steam thing. See all the steam coming out of the wok? You can see it starting to raise, and there we go. We're just adjusting our temperature down, and we're keeping that nice even rocking motion going. If you're on a gauge, you'll want to keep it between 10 and 11 pounds, probably closer to the 11 pounds. And we've just set our timer over here for an hour and a half. That's 90 minutes. That's per quart. 75 minutes per pint. And that includes that 10 minutes of steaming time. That's why it's important to have that 10 minutes of steaming time and not to bypass it, because that counts as part of your time in the canner. They account for all of that when they tell you how much time it needs. Alright, so we'll see you back here in an hour and a half. Okay, here you have it. This made 9 quarts of delicious homemade chili. Now again, you could have not used the Brook's beans. You could have used your own home canned juices and beans. That's fine. I just didn't want to waste mine. I mean, I've got mine all canned up, and I didn't want to take it out of the jars just to recan it again and the beans not be firm. And I like Brook's. I like the way their spices taste, and it just is a really good addition. You know, I'm not getting paid by anybody here. I'm just telling you that makes a really good addition to my chili. That's the way I like it. Okay, so give this recipe a go. Please give it a go. You're going to absolutely find this delicious. I'm just going to add a few crackers to mine, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a try right before your little eyes. Let's get a beaner in here. Where's the beans? Oh, there you go. You can add more beans to this however you like it. Make it however you like it. That is really, really good. I'm going to hand this bowl over to my husband and let him give you a taste. Sorry, let him give this chili a taste. He's not going to eat you. He's going to eat the chili. You want to come here and give it a try? It is really good. See, I can share a spoon with my husband. He don't mind. Look at the hamburger, the beans, and you still have the chunks of tomatoes in here. You got the beans. Looks good. Okay, here you go, honey. Have a go at it. Have a try. Let's see what you think here.
It's very good.
Isn't that delicious? So what do you think? You think it needs anything?
No, it's good chili.
Speak now before I can it up, because this is your winter chili.
It's good. You got it canned.
Oh yeah, I'm going to can up some more though. That was good, so I'm going to can up some more. You know, I can't stop canning, and I still, over here you can see I still have some jars to fill up over here. So if there's empty jars in my house from where we've already emptied jars, I just keep filling them. Well, this is Chef and Builder Janie Pendleton. We're going to go have some dinner, and you know what's good on this is a little bit of cheese. Lordy, lordy, you got to try this one. Blessings.